So this is the insane thing that I do for prepping Forgeworld models. After cleaning them and drying them, I give them a soak in a salt bath. It's basically just a bunch of salt. And what that does is if there's the resin, which is, you know, it's poured as a liquid, sometimes it doesn't cure all the way, and it fully pulls out any moisture or any oils that are still in the resin. It's complete overkill and there's no need to do it, but I'm completely crazy when it comes to prepping Forgeworld models, and the guy who taught me how to do these models is what he showed me to do, so it's what I do. It's complete overkill, you don't need to do it, but I do it. So I've got a ton of infantry stuff in here, which I don't expect to find any salt clumps, which kind of show you where it pulled some moisture out of the resin. But I do have a fell blade in here, and this bottom one, and I expect to see something there. These have been soaking for 2 or 3 weeks, I think, which is way overkill. I expected them to sit for a week, and I just got wrapped up in holiday, Christmassy kind of stuff, and now I'm finally getting to them. So let's kind of find out what we find. So I have a very complicated procedure. Kitchen sifter, salt, and I dump. So, oh, and there's 2 rhinos in here. The laser destroyers, and I just sift the salt out because you can reuse the salt. It's not expensive, but it's just a hassle. It's so big and heavy to carry around. Oh, I need a dunk container. Yeah. You know what? Let's grab another Tupperware. Okay. Didn't quite think that through. Okay, so let's see. The first batch, don't really see anything. So yeah, this resin was probably good and dry. So far, complete waste of time, but like I said, it's not shocking. So, I don't know if it's going to show up in the camera, but if you can kind of see, there's some salt that's sitting at the edges of some of these this guy, and that's, you can kind of see right there, that's what it's doing, is it's pulling moisture out of the model. So like I said, that is complete overkill, and it's not a big deal. Oh, you can see a bunch of it right there, and that would matter. So you can see it right there. So basically that just means the resin wasn't fully cured. So I mean, you can just leave this stuff out and it'll air dry. But I was kind of looking forward to moving forward with the project. This one's fine, nothing on that. This one looks totally okay. And the vast majority of the pieces are just fine. This is complete overkill. But when I do hobbying stuff, I tend to be a little obsessive and tend to overkill. Yeah, in fact, now I'm really happy I did this. It wouldn't have really mattered on the underside. You can see all that right there. At least I hope it shows up on film. But the good side, there's really not much. So for the most part, this probably wouldn't matter. Obviously, these need a whole other cycle through the rinse to get the salt off. You know, unless you're trying to do some kind of salt corrosion technique, which is a little different. You want to get the salt off. So yeah, here's a bunch of it. Wow, I'm really glad I did this. Oh, geez. Yeah, so these must have been freshly cast. So yeah. It probably would take a primer, and the resin, when it came up, would not get to it. And chances are I would have assembled them, they would have sat for a month or so anyway, and then naturally it would have come out. So it wouldn't be a big deal. It's just kind of what I like to do. So let's kind of see what else we got here. Let's go through the infantry, and there's also a dreadnought in here too. There's a couple infantry guys, plus the quad mortar things. It's a little early, so I don't remember what they're called. But yeah, there's a dreadnought, that AA dreadnought. It looks like a boat. So yeah, these all look fine. No issues there. Which is what you'd expect. So yeah, it's complete overkill, totally unneeded on the infantry models because the resin pieces are so much smaller. It's usually the bigger pieces that have this issue. So I'm not shocked to not find any on the infantry. So this was a total waste of time. But that's okay. When you're kind of obsessive about your hobby, wasting time is okay. So there's a little bit on this guy, on the tread. I don't know if that's going to show up. But other than that, these look pretty good. So yeah, that means they're just such small pieces, the resin was fully cured. Or they were cast a while ago, which is probably a little A and a little B. It's usually the big models like a Fellblade or a Warhound, things like that I'm worried about because I have a feeling they sometimes cast those to order. Yeah, that's interesting. This guy's got a decent amount on it. You can see it on the bottom there. Now, if it's not properly dry, when you put it in the salt, you'll get this, of course. Yeah, you can see it on the underside there too. But, you know, I let these dry for like, I don't know, a week before I put them in the salt to make sure that that didn't happen. Because it won't do you any good if you put wet models in salt, obviously. The idea is the salt pulls out all the moisture from the resin, not the moisture that you had. Okay, so here's going to be the interesting one. Now we're going to pull the Fellblade out. I'm really curious to see. This is usually when I see some nutty kind of clumps is in the big Forgeworld stuff. There was a hammerhead I did a few years ago that was just bonkers. Oh yeah. Ah, that's not too bad. So yeah, you can see some of it right here. Is clumping up. I don't know. It looks like it's going to show up on film, but I can't tell. See it right there, maybe. So, oh, I'm going to need a bigger box for this, I think. We'll try. Let's see if this works. You know what? Let's just try scooping out some stuff. It's kind of like digging for treasure in here. A little bit in this piece, but really pretty good. Treads look good. This looks pretty good. A little bit of some pieces on this one. Not too bad. And of course, agitating it like I am will knock some off, but if it's really strong on there, it'll show up. Okay. Looks like the barrel has some in there. Not too bad. It's really pretty good, actually. This is much better than that hammerhead I did a couple of years ago, and as well as my Warhound, much better. The Shadow Sword and Baneblade that I did Forgeworld, those were already built by somebody else, so even though I soaked them, I didn't find anything, because they had been sitting out for a while. They just got cleaned really well. And I am by no means an expert in this stuff, but this is just what I do because it was what I was taught. Wow, look at that. So you can see a lot of moisture in there. I pulled stuff out. So yeah, if I hadn't dried this before I put it in, I would have thought that might have been an issue with moisture in it. But yeah, so there must have, because this is such a thick piece, the resin wasn't fully cured, and so it just pulled out right there. Like I said, it's always big models like this fell blade that I see it with. And I don't build a ton of Forgeworld models. In fact, this is the first big one I've done in like a year, so you can definitely take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. But yeah, oh wow, grain of salt. It's funny. Yeah, look at that. So you can see all in here, all in here. So yeah, it's pulling moisture out of the resin. Oh, that. Yep, there it is. Okay. Let's try and speed this up a little. Nothing. Oh boy, oh wow, yeah. You can see in this one too, it's all on the crack. Same piece on the other side. It's all in there, all in there. Yeah, definitely. Interesting. So that's why I do it. I mean, all this stuff seems to be mostly on the inside of the model, so it probably wouldn't have mattered. I've said it probably 10 times and you're probably sick of hearing it. This is definitely overkill. But if you're looking for that extra, I don't want to worry about resin having a problem later. I know there's some people on Instagram and some other ones that I correspond with that they don't even wash their Forgeworld models. You know, I scrub them and I soak them for like a few days. But some folks don't even do that, which to me is just insane. But I hate painting this stuff. I don't want to do it more than about once. To see this stuff flake off would absolutely drive me crazy. Plus I would feel bad. Most of the stuff I paint up and play with for like a year and then I sell it. And I would hate to think that a couple years down the road something flaked off and didn't hold up from something I bought. It's not like I do this as a business or anything. It's just makes your hobby cheaper. You play with it for a little while and you sell it off. Which I know that seems amazing to people, but I find this hobby, you learn a new technique and learn how to paint better. The stuff you painted a year or two ago kind of annoys the living crap out of you that you didn't do it a certain way because you could do it better now. Okay, so let's just speed this along. Big old resin flake, but not them all. I think I got most of the pieces out. Oh, found a las cannon. Oop. So one of the interesting things about the fell blade is the whole model is actually partially a bane blade. You haven't seen one built. That's why the pieces will fit in here, is because it's 2/3 or half of a bane blade model that you're slapping some fell blade pieces on. Come on. The fine sifter is nice because you're not losing any pieces, but it kind of makes it tough to sift. And I'll probably go through this one more time off camera to make sure I didn't miss any pieces, because then I get paranoid about that too, but that's not interesting. But anyway, just one more time, take a look at some of these pieces. You can kind of see here. Let me get right up close with the camera. That one, you can see on this one, it's just moisture coming out of the resin, that's all. Anyway, good luck. I just thought I would share this. It's kind of something neat that I know not many people do. Just thought I'd share it on YouTube, and good luck hobbying. If you have any questions about this method or any comments, you want to just call me an idiot for doing this, just go ahead and throw a comment up and just let me know, or shoot me a message. Anyway, thanks. Have fun hobbying.